Hey everybody, it's GauntletX and welcome back to some more Magic Arena. Today we're going to be playing a Chromatic Cube draft. Chromatic Cube is back for a couple of weeks leading up to Edge of Eternities, so we'll give it a couple drafts because there's plenty of other variety stuff going on at the same time, so I'm not going to be super focused on Cube. If you've never drafted a Cube before, it is where you're drafting from a curated list of cards, so it can be a bunch of rares and mythics and spicy stuff. As you can see, the vast majority of this pack is rares and mythics here, which means that it is a phantom event. We don't keep anything we draft here. It is simply for the fun of the event and the prizes on the prize tracker. Chromatic Cube is kind of a specific cube. It's focused on a bunch of big multicolored splashy bomb rares and build-arounds, and a little bit less on good, efficient, aggressive decks or good, efficient removal spells and stuff. Like Price of Fame, probably slow enough and high enough in mana value that it wouldn't be in the regular cube. The regular Arena cube is just 100% the strongest cards on Arena, period, is the idea of that cube. Anyways, with that whole gigantic spiel out of the way, let's get into the pack one, pick one here. If you want a big, balmy play, there are a million different options for you. If you want decent removal, there's one option, and I'm just going to take the decent removal spell because I find that a lot harder to come by, usually in Chromatic Cube, than the big, spicy, splashy plays. That is the whole name of the game in Chromatic Cube. There are just infinite top-end cards to pick up, so you can get them later in the draft. Pick two, Maze Mind Tome could be a good card draw in any colors that we end up playing. Burn Down the House is sort of a board wipe there. There's a couple decent removal spells here, Drown an Ichor, Unable to Scream, and Hell to Pay. I think the Drown looks pretty good following up the Price of Fame. I also think that Mana Dorks tend to be really strong in this cube. The green deck's focused on playing a bunch of Avacyn's Pilgrims, Llanowar Elves, Birds of Paradise. Anything like that can just ramp up into really big bombs really fast, so I think that'd be reasonable too, but I'm going to go really cautious for the return trip. It has been a very long time since I've drafted any cube, so we're just going to stick to monocolor removal for now and pick our secondary color later when we need to, when there's no longer a decent option in black. And for pick three, I think there is no longer a decent option in black. I don't think the Rot Curse Rakshas is particularly great. The idea is you send it in for 5, and then you can shut off all your opponent's blockers later in the game. It also makes them so they can only attack once, but they still keep all of their abilities. So I just don't think that's that good by cube standards. Like, what are you going to do? Shut off their 7/6? It's still going to hit you for 7, get its whole ability and everything. We could go full control for this first draft here. We have Drown Ichor, Price of Fame, and then the Silumgar's Command going towards blue-black. These kind of 2-for-1 counter spells and removal spells tend to play super well in cube environments. Yeah, I like trying out the Command here. Pick number 4, there's a chart, of course, for decent card draw. Mana Confluence is solid mana fixing for anything that we play, or we start moving into a different color. Crackle with Power is a fun win condition if you can get to a really high mana value, or if you can double it with something like the Cursed Recording that we saw in the last pack. That's a way to do things as well. I'm going to go for the Mana Confluence here. Pick 5, Black-Red Pathway, Prismatic Vista here for fixing for any colors, or a Lulf. 5 mana, 2/2/1s with Menace and Reach. Makes it really hard to attack the Lulf, and when those 2/1s die, you get extra counters on Lulf. Even if you don't get any more counters on her, you're drawing a card every turn. Yeah, that actually seems pretty strong.
You reek with terror.
Pick number 6. Ooh. Bituminous Blast could be cute here for some Grixis control. 4 damage to a creature is not the best for 5 mana, but it also cascades into another spell. Cascade is not Discover. If you cascade into something that costs less than 4, you either cast it or it goes away forever. You don't get to just draw it into your hand. So it is a little awkward with like counter spells and stuff if we do go Grixis and play a bunch of blue counter magic. Path to Exile is really efficient removal, but in Chromatic Cube, your opponent gets to ramp up, get a land of any color that they need, whatever basic land they need, That is actually a kind of hefty downside. Could also just take the Sulfur Falls again if I want to go towards Grixis, just get the fixing first, but I'm going to get the spell first. Come on, Bituminous Blast. Pick number 7. Enduring Courage for aggro. I don't think we're aggro here. If we play enough Surveil and card draw, like draw and discard style spells, we might be able to get Threshold for Kiora, which would be fun. We have some Surveil off Price of Fame. Kiora herself draws 2 discards too. Could see Kiora being good. Fires of Victory, pretty expensive. You basically want to cast this for 5, but then it is like blow up a small creature plus draw a card. Could also just take out Mixless here. It's also pretty fair. Mono black control. Splash blue, splash red. My god, okay. We'll just take every black planeswalker that's ever been printed. Alright, we wheeled an Atris out of this pack. That was honestly one of my favorite cards in this pack in the first place. I think that this is just a really nice 2-for-1 piece of card advantage here. 4 mana for a 3/2 Menace. And then you draw the best card in your top 3 at worst. And if they're pretty comparable in value, then you can draw 2 cards off this. Card is kind of ridiculous. Pick 10. There's that Maze Mind Tome or Hell to Pay. Hell to Pay could fix mana with the treasures we're getting off of it, which is pretty cute. And I don't think that we're going to be lacking on card draw here. We have Obnixilus and Lolth and Atris and Sorin. Yeah, every Planeswalker we have is drawing a card every single turn. We have a lot of Planeswalkers. We will have some spells. I don't know if we're going to quite have Curse Recording counts of spells. I'm just going to grab Thundering Falls here. There's an Angrath. So, alright, Grixis supervillains here, all Planeswalkers. Frostcliff Siege is so creature-centric, it's not going to work in this deck. We have almost no creatures right now. Same with Enduring Courage. Alright, for pack 2, pick 1, we have an excellent pack here. Noxious Gearhulk, removal spell, and a creature all at once, and it gains you some life when you cast it. Big fan of Gearhulk for stabilizing the late game. I think we've got a lot of good higher mana value spells though right now, so I really do like Cold Steel Heart when you don't have a lot of stuff to do early game. Just getting towards your 4 and 5 mana plays a turn earlier is pretty huge, so I do like Cold Steel Heart a bunch. There's also Cruel Claw that's great, Fabled Passage, and Steam Vents for fixing. Just an excellent pack all around. Pack 2, pick 2, there's a black-red dual land. There's a Bloodthirsty Conqueror and Sheoldred for big finishers. Collective Brutality for some early game interaction. Ether Spark if we want to add to our monumental amount of Planeswalkers. Although this would be pretty awkward in this deck, again, because we're low on creatures. This one doesn't do anything without a creature on your board. I think we just need to take the cheap spells while we can. As you can see, this is kind of how Chromatic Cube draft tends to go. You end up with just a stack of the big stuff. You really need to prioritize the early plays when you can. There's the perfect land, Grixis blue, black, red there. Probably taking that, although the Roller Crusher Ride and Tybalt are both huge late game spells. Tybalt's a massive win condition. Roller Crusher Ride, potential like one-sided board wipe. There's no early plays here. I guess Tybalt does get to come down as just a 2-mana 2/1 if you're really lacking on early plays. Tybalt is probably the fiercest competition for this Xander's Lounge. I think the fixing on this is pretty perfect. There's also a potential board wipe, but only killing on average half the cards is awkward. Pick 4. Ooh, they put a reanimation deck in the Chromatic Cube this time around. Cool. We're not in a good position to do that. We'll just take Soul Servitude for more cheap removal when there's no on-color duels at all. Withering Torment looks spectacular. This is one of the best removal spells in Standard, let alone in Chromatic Cube. Yeah, taking that over some fixing. I mean, we're really deep on black here, so we just need a light splash of blue and red overall. Shouldn't need a million pieces of fixing. God, Liliana. Mono black planeswalkers, baby. I can't resist. Play with fire might be better. Take more fixing early and more cheap red removal, but mono black planeswalkers, I guess. Just gonna be this open. Caustic Bronco for something early to do. You do not get to be monocolored in Chromatic Cube very often, so I want to see if we can make it happen. For the first draft of the return trip, that'd be very funny. Take a Drowned Catacomb in case we don't get the full monocolored here. Steam Vents. Shieldred Wheels for us. Like that better than Conqueror. Alright, I don't think we're going to get the full monocolored. We only have like 12 black spells. I think we have a ton of life gain for Pearl Collector, but again, Extinction Event is really, really game dependent, whether it's going to be good or not. Guess I still take it. I probably have a low enough creature count that this is at worst like exile target creature. Right? Like if they have a good odd mana value creature and a good even mana value creature on board, I probably won't have one myself. So we can just exile their one creature without exiling anything of my own. Got that play with fire to wheel. So red looks super open in this pod. Ooh, we are definitely deep enough in black to play Massacre Worm. Come Back Wrong is really solid early removal though, and I want to have a ton of that. That's harder to come by, and Massacre Worm's more likely to wheel. I still don't think it will. And the reason is not because I think it shouldn't wheel. I think if people are drafting to win, Massacre Worm should probably wheel. But people like to draft stuff that is fun, so I assume somebody playing a 3-color deck is going to still try to play the triple black Massacre Worm. But I feel like we're the only player in the pod that's actually deep enough on black to justify the mana value. That said, again, some 3 or 4-color players probably still just going to take the worm. I still think Come Back Wrong is more important for the early, efficient removal. Liliana the Veil, very nice. 3 mana, make your opponent sack a creature. And then if each player discards a card is ever advantageous, you can start doing that as well.
When I win, you're telling me what you know about the Raven Man.
What is different about this for alchemy? I guess the ninjutsu cost is probably cheaper than it used to be. It's not really going to work in this deck. We're never ninjutsuing it. So it's a 3 mana 3/2 that doesn't do anything unless it gets in. It should be pretty hard for it to get in. So we'll take Cruel Claw's Heist here. A little Thoughtseize. Magma Opus. The top of the curve. Be cute off the splash. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17 cards in black alone. I guess I could take Burst Lightning here. We might be able to just be black splashing red removal. Davriel? Yes! Every Planeswalker.
If it's a deal.
Every single one. Evolved Sleeper could be a card draw engine. Jadar gives us creatures to sacrifice every turn. Or poke for 2 with every turn, but I think I only have like 1 card here that cares about sacrificing a creature, and it's Sidisi. Yeah, I'll take Sleeper. Sedgemoor Witch. Wow, every card in this pack is Grixis. Yeah, Sedgemoor Witch it is. I only need 3 more on-color playables to play a monocolor deck in the Chromatic Cube. That is insane and pretty much not the right thing to do, basically, ever. Definitely not here. We should be splashing into one of these colors, but I think it will be fun. So I'm going to take a random cityscape leveler for just a random colorless spell. We wield Massacre where we actually did it. Nobody was bold enough to try to play it in their 3-color deck, thank goodness. We might actually get there with like wheeling a Massacre Worm like that. Couple random, slightly cheaper artifacts. Shoot. This is a blue artifact for cheap at 6 mana. It's House an opposing creature, put a duplicate into your hand. I guess it's still okay for 6. 8 mana is still a lot for this deck. (2021, 22). I need one more playable if I can cut Cityscape Leveler here. Again, strictly trying to win, which is not super high on my priority list whenever I'm drafting Cube, but strictly trying to win. We're certainly like splashing into at least one of these 2 colors, playing more better interaction and cutting the worst of these cards in the main deck, like Nashi here. But this is going to be funny. This is 23 spells now. Mono black. Ignore the entire point of the Chromatic Cube. Draft black Planeswalkers. That's the plan today. Let's just get right into the gameplay. The deck has built itself because it is absolutely beautiful. Alright, here we are for game number 1 on the play. Playing against a green deck, they start with Wayfarer's Bauble. That's probably one of the better cards in this cube. Fixing you can put into any deck regardless of color. Fixing plus ramp. That seems fantastic. Let's drop Nashi here. If they don't have the cheap removal, they crack the Bauble, play their 4-drop, I kill their 4-drop and hit them with Nashi, get the trigger and win off that. It doesn't take too many hits with Nashi to kind of win the game off the value that it gives you if you hit a good spell off the exile. So Teamer, green, blue, and red. Some Tarkir colors over there. Oracle of Moldiah is the play with an Escape to the Wilds on top of their deck. That is very strong. Especially if they still have an Oracle on board. There'll be 2 additional lands next turn, plus draw all those cards to play the turn after that. Yeah, I mean, I have to kill the Oracle either way. I could discard a card to put an Oracle Moldiah in my hand, or I can just Liliana it. I think I don't care too much about getting that in my hand. Oh, you know what I just realized? I'm dumb. I'm playing their Escape to the Wilds because I'm getting the Oracle out of the way, which is incredible. Play that over the Davriel so I can ramp up the additional land for turn. Overlord. Goodbye, Nashi. Still did work. I appreciate that. Oh, kill Liliana? You got it. I wasn't even going to activate her unless I drew a swamp. Okay, we cast cards from exile here because they'll be gone after this turn. I can Withering Torment the Overlord. Or just play a Massacre Worm or Shield Shard with no ETB. It's probably going to be one of these 2. I guess we'll see what Nashi does first. That could change my mind. Nashi does nothing. Oh, I forgot Nashi could play lands too. Yeah, I should have waited. Played their land here. I guess if I put Shieldred on this board, then I have a removal spell sitting on the board. I can just spend the 5 and flip, blow up something. Whereas Massacre Worm, I just have the The ability to make my opponents lose 2 life whenever one of their creatures dies. I don't think that's as good as having access to the flip on Shieldred. Overlords the deck, they say. Just keep casting their cards against them here. In a multitude of ways. Go Nashi, go. Remember all the trash I talked about Nashi? Turns out when your opponent has... I guess they had an Overlord, they could have killed Nashi instead of Liliana. But when your opponent has very, very little removal, Nashi can still do some crazy stuff. I just figured we were going to have low enough creature count that Nashi would just always die before it does anything. Plus you have to clear your opponent's board. Oh, that's so good for our opponent here. I think they get to kill all 3. Yeah. Disgusting Ruler Crusher ride. Overlord legend? No. I'll need to have 4 mana untapped. Which hold up Price of Fame. I guess I could have still played Sorin. Miscounted. Probably didn't count the weird looking everywhere. Which is probably still the better play. If I'm gonna cast the instant next turn anyway. Alright, Impending's in the end step. Yeah, Cube is as close as I ever get to playing against basically constructed level cards. The amount of times I've played against Overlord has only been in Duskborn Draft and Sealed, so I have not played against the Impending mechanic that much. These are both really bad. I guess I kill one here with Price of Fame and then the other with Obnix. Let's kill Seed Shark first. Kindred Denial. Disgusting. Ooh, I wish I had more removal than I do. I think we lose. I think we genuinely have to be able to kill both those to have a chance here, but I guess we'll see. We do put them low. Low here.
You can deal with my servant. I'm busy.
Pass the turn with all their instants up. Awkward.
I perfect violence.
Blood for knowledge. A fair trade.
Gonna be Sublime Epiphany. Something really gross. They at least have a 4/4 they get to flip up. Could just gain 2 off the vampire. Otherwise they like flip up the 4/4 double block Sedgemoor Witch, take 2 with no spells in hand. Yeah, attacks are so bad if they have just like a single spell in hand. So I guess just like gain 2. Because even without a spell in their hand, our attacks don't do much. Just wait for our Overlord to unlock. Alright, I don't have any bait for a counterspell here, so... Gotta make sure that we win if they don't have the counterspell. As likely as it is, they might just have some instant speed burn or something instead. God, it would be exactly Sublime Epiphany, like the least beatable counterspell in the whole cube. Jesus. You got me. That's cube for you. They're low enough on life. We probably could have got there if we curved out more efficiently. There was a turn that I skipped out on playing like Soren and getting my creature off of him earlier. Because I thought I had to hold up Price of Fame against the Overlord, but the Overlords are in the end step, so I didn't have to. So if I hadn't have done that, I would have had the flyer on the turn on the board earlier and then kill a Seed Shark instead of the Overlord at that point to get in.
Things have not gone my way.
Find any card in my deck here. If anything can win, then I draw it, I guess. Exile all evens might win the game. Extinction event on evens. No, these are still odd. And I have no even mana value cards on board. I hate that these are technically still mana value 3 and 5, so Extinction Event doesn't do it. What else is in my deck? Warzone, Duplicator, Lolth, Drown and Ichor, Cruel Claws, Heist, Collective Brutality, Caustic Bronco. Have our opponent lose 2 life and we gain 2 life. They're still at 2. I feel like Extinction Event is our only option.
The weak shall inherit nothing.
But then I just died all the incubators on the crackback, so it doesn't matter. I can Extinction Event them to 3 life and then die to incubators. This is what I don't like. About Extinction Event is that it can just line up awkwardly. Does do X to a player? Oh my god! Cruel Claws Heist MVP? Oh, that is cube for you. Opponent is uninstalling the game right now. I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, Extinction Event doesn't do it, so the only hope is that they have a burn spell because they're a red deck and they had a burn spell, so we steal it with Cruel Claws Heist. Well, we won, but I'm not a massive fan of just the insane swings turnover turns. This is why I'm not as much of a fan of Cube as just regular draft environments. Because those last 2 or 3 turns, that was a very clear example of, like, that is just Cube being Cube right there. Sublime Epiphany into Doppelgang, and then Cruel Claws Heist into Chandra. To just absolutely monumental swings back and forth in the end game. But I guess we get the victory there. That is gonna be 1-0 heading into game 2. Here we are on the play for game 2. Liliana into Soren. Let's hope they play a creature on turn 2, but not turn 1. That way Liliana arrives right on time to make them sacrifice it before it does anything. Ooh. actual, like, perfect draw here. Golgari from our opponent. They don't have a 2-drop creature. Well, that's why we drew the Cold Steel Heart, so I can just play a Sorin instead. Get to swinging.
I bring all that is broken. You will serve me well.
Jund, red, green, and black. Fountain Port Channeler. That's a bummer. This card is one of the really absurd alchemy cards. All of their creatures in hand cost 2 less to cast now. Pretty gnarly. Comeback Wrong's pretty solid against it. Get myself some cost reductions here. Unfortunately, I only have 1 creature in my hand.
My ways are not for the weak.
But I think I want to just kill the 2/3 anyway. Right, my other option is to Liliana and kill the 1/1. Or to do nothing with this mana for now. Yeah, let's kill the 2/3 so they don't have good crackbacks against Sorin. I do want to gain the life here, though. I'm not looking to ultimate Sorin. Just going to keep drawing a card every turn. So it's cool if they hit him for 1 and I plus, and they hit him for 1 and then I plus. Alright, Loomer's a big boy and ramps them up a little here. It's got reach as well, so we will have to Price of Fame that. Could Duplicator it. Conjure Duplicate in my hand. But then they get to recast it and trigger again. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of that. Goodbye, Swamps. Ooh, Davriel. Davriel +1 here goes pretty hard. Probably just doing that. Oof. Take some damage.
Blood for knowledge. A fair trade.
I could play a Lulth, and I have the spiders to block anyway.
Darkness will swallow. We will slay our enemies.
Uh-oh. 4 mana Calamity, 2 mana Gix. Huge yikes. Saddle up. Get another tapped attacking creature. They get 2 copies with the saddle. Ah. That's bad. And the copies are making the other creatures in their hand cost 1 less apiece. So 2 less, because they get 2 copies? What is my life right now? Oh my god, Cube! Just guaranteeing the kill on Lulth here. Funny thing is, if I do this, Lulth is still dead. Even though Lulth gets a counter, I'd have to double block to keep Lulth around. Yeah, this is a bummer. They draw a card if they hit me. Stop the card draw, but Lulth is dead.
A pity our time is over. My power is for annihilation.
And it's alchemy nonsense too, so even if I duplicator it, it still costs 2 less to cast next turn. Because of the fountain ports. So the Davriel doesn't trigger off of the duplicates that Calamity makes. Just turtle up here. I feel like I just turtle up here.
You can deal with my servant. I'm busy.
If I can Calamity Warzone Duplicator, that's going to be Absolutely gnarly. Uh-oh. Okay. No haste, that's not the end of the world. Not the end of the world. Okay. Alchemy, or not alchemy. Cube nonsense here? This can bounce creatures that are bigger, right? No, it only bounces creatures with less power. Okay. I thought that it worked where, like, if you bounce a creature with less power, then you get a duplicate, but if it has more power, you don't. Dang. So I can't bounce Lumra. Could still Trump attack to bounce the rest of their board.
Dire times call for dire tactics.
Honestly, probably worth it. Big Liliana, each player sacks 2 is also kind of ham here. Calamity bounce these 2, or Liliana, they sack these 2. We sack Spider Flyer. If I go the Calamity route, they kill the Duplicator, but I keep everybody else. I also have a Gix in hand. Yeah. Oh no, they don't kill the Duplicator, they kill Calamity. Because Duplicator has to be saddled. I think if I Calamity Duplicator first, and then Liliana next turn, I think it's super likely to pan out well. They take 12 if they kill Calamity here. And then now they have the smaller board for 1-way Liliana. I don't know, the Calamity has just been a huge overperformer. This card has been horrific. Oh, Calamity Craterhoof? Yeah. That'll do it. I don't even think they needed the Calamity there, really, with Craterhoof. But it's mega infinite lethal, those 2 cards together. Turns out Calamity, Galloping Inferno, absolutely terrifying in this cube. It's kind of brutal we just didn't have any targeted removal. That would have made this game a lot easier. But it's all like each player sacks is all we've drawn at this point. I guess I had that one. I had 2 target removal spells I had to use elsewhere. I didn't have to use Comeback Wrong. That might have been where we had a shot here. I do think I had to kill Lumra. Alright, 1-1 heading into game 3. I guess the other thing to think about that game is, if you look back on it, we did technically die to a bunch of big creatures, but realistically speaking, I think the most important card of the game, the one that really won things, was the Fountainport Charmer. The fact that all their cards cost 2 less, the fact that Calamity was only 4 mana, Gix was only 2, the Craterhoof, I think they got its cost reduced enough to play it early there, but I think they might have had 8 lands in the endgame anyway. But all of the other creatures being significantly cheaper was astronomical that game. Okay, Cruel Claw's Heist. Have them discard a card and draw a card, and will draw whatever would make them discard. Bloom Tender, Evolved Sleeper, Comeback Wrong. Well, if I just take Comeback Wrong, let them keep the Bloom Tender, all I have to kill is 1 Evolved Sleeper, and they have nothing in the hand from then on. Bloom Tender just doesn't matter at all until they draw into something big. And looks like we draw into the removal to be able to just kill everything anyway. I don't really want a Bloom Tender in my hand, so we'll come back wrong that. And then I can Soul Servitude the Evolved Sleeper. And that one I can draw to my hand, play for just 1 mana here. Let's top deck a Swamp, something expendable. Ayo, let's go. So now if I don't draw land, we get to poke for 1, hold up a Price of Fame, and if we don't cast it, just dump mana into Evolved Sleeper. If I do draw land, then we've got our good 5 drops. Okay, if they play a Lesh, I'm definitely playing Price of Fame. Surveil into land 5. It's not in the top 2, so we just dump those. Swarm Saboteur. Gonna get a bunch of Virus Beetles. Any Virus Beetle fans in the audience? Virus Beetle is returning in Edge of Eternities. Gonna be great. This is objectively funny. We have drawn our own Evolved Sleeper. We're evolving all over the place. Perfectly timed Shieldred, now that we're out of other removal. We hit that 5th land, let them sack their last creature. Keep poking. Sire of 7 Deaths. They're all odd mana costs on my board as well, so we'll have to pay the life.
You and your world shall perish.
The second game we've drawn Extinction Event and it's looked really bad. Alright, that's 2 and 1 for the Mono Black Planeswalker Dream Team. Here we are on the play for game number 4. 2 and 1 right now. Only need to win 1 more game to at least go 50-50 on this draft. Nice average run there, but we can keep up our win rate here, get to like a 6-3. Twice as many wins as losses I'd be pretty happy with for this deck. I think we got enough like really solid interaction and fixing and everything in our draft that if we built the splash in some off-color interaction version of this as a control deck, I think this deck would be very solid. As it stands, it's still been pretty decent for us so far, which is nice. It is very tempting to just kill the Mana Dork immediately, but I'm a bit greedy with Sedgemoor Witch. I want to get my Pest. This hand is loaded on removal too, so worst case scenario, we can hopefully just kill everything that they cast off the Familiar. That's awkward. If they were stuck on 2 mana, would have been great to kill the Familiar. Holding them off the stock up would have been huge. It's the stock up now. Draws 2 lands for them. Although, no, they're not. I guess they were stocking up, so if they hit a tap land, they get to play it there before playing land for turn, because they played Hedge Maze and they chose to mill a swamp. So they definitely weren't stuck on 2 mana, or that would be an insane Surveil choice. Okay. Never mind. Our choice there went out fine, or worked out fine. I think I used this one. I don't want to use Comeback Wrong because there's a lot of good enter effect cards. Got an odd and an even. This still feels like a matchup. Extinction Event could be good against a green deck. Heavy green as well, all 3 lands they've played are in green. It's going to be full 5 color. It's their first white land there. Kill the Sedgemoor Witch with Annie joins up. That's tragic, but we still got the 1 pest we need for Sidisi here. Sidisi into a Planeswalker. Planeswalkers are good plays on the empty board. Get us way ahead. Just as a card advantage over time kind of play. 5 mana right now. It's like Obnixilis or Sorin. I think are very reasonable. Tempted to Cruel Claw's Heist because I always live in fear, but I think Obnix is probably the most consistently good card for right now. To blow up all their legendary triggers. Oh no! Mirari's Wake. I might have to Withering Torment Mirari's Wake to stop them from doubling their mana. I guess I can Collective Brutality, just look at their hand here, and then see if we Withering Torment or not. I will not be discarding a card to drain them for 2. They have an Exercise that I get to get rid of here. They have a Case of the Lost Witness, an Oracle, and a Golos. Okay, their hand isn't scary. Golos is the only scary card, and I can kill him before he does anything, especially if I get rid of Mirari's Wake. If I don't get rid of Mirari's Wake, they have 10 mana next turn. They could play Golos and Oracle, maybe even more. I think I have enough removal to still torment the Mirari's Wake here. I could also torment Annie joins up. That will double the Golos trigger. They get 2 lands off Golos entering. I don't know if they put... They always like add and remove Field of the Dead every time they do one of these. If Field of the Dead is in the cube right now, I should kill Annie joins up. But if it's not, I should kill Mirari's Wake. Field of the Dead is a land where if they have 7 lands on board with different names, they get a 2/2 zombie. And you can tutor it up with Golos. So the Golos Field of the Dead combo is busted. I'm gonna hope that it is still not in the cube right now, because I think it wasn't in last time. Get a Triome. And Moment of Truth. This would be land 7. This would be where they get the Field of the Dead if it is in there. Okay. Field of the Dead. Either they didn't get a copy in their draft pod or it's not in the cube right now. Either which makes me pretty happy. Now I get to ramp. I technically didn't need to do this pre-combat because we have Death Touch, so they might have blocked and not realized they had Death Touch there. But I'd have to do it main phase 2 regardless because I can't let them go digging for spells off the top for outs here. Get a Fibblethip on board. Extinction Event finally earning its slot in the deck. Oh, they got a Binding of the Old Gods. Oh, and double land. Sidisi, no. And they're drawing a Traxa? Lord have mercy. God dang it, I can't make them shuffle. I can't get rid of their top card. Oh. Atraxa with Annie joins up on board. Draw 14 cards. I just need to play a flyer. Extinction event on odds next turn, I guess. Maybe they mill out.
No cost to quill my people. I bring my
No, they have 22 cards still. Even if they drop 14, they just kill us with everything rather than mill out. Do they have Tooth and Nail tracks on their deck? That is spice. Roxanne. Roxanne with Annie joins up. Makes 2 meteorites, does 3 damage to 2 targets. So that kills our Flyer and our Sorin here. But they also have Maelstrom Pulse because they got to draw their whole deck. So Maelstrom Pulse plus the Oracle kills Sorin here. There's Fibblethip. Solves the case.
tragedy befalls us all.
If I had 1 more mana, could exile the 2 evens and then make them sack Atraxa and get a copy of Atraxa into our hand. And that would be like our out here, but I don't have 7 mana, so I could only kill Atraxa and pass, and then they just firmly take over the game. Yeah, that was devastating. I mean, just Atraxa off the top will do that to you. They didn't even need Annie joins up on board, honestly. That's just how gnarly Atraxa is. Here we are on the draw for game number 5, 2-2 right now. Time to rally into some wins. We were one inopportune top deck away from winning last game, so let's just hope we dodge massive top decks for the rest of this draft. Alright, Grixis control from our opponent. I don't mind just getting rid of the counterspell here. The Mizzy Mortis isn't going to do anything for a long time against our deck, nor is the Hostage Taker. This Scholar is super threatening at the top of their curve. Luckily, they don't have anything good to recast with it yet, nor do they have any blue mana. This is the funniest kind of mirror match. We have hands full of removal, so we just play a land and it auto passes every turn too. Alright, they have found their first blue source, so they could hostage take one of my spiders.
Strong. A gift in exchange for loyalty.
If they top decked another land here, in these last few turns, they could just go land Liliana. Be reasonable. Ooh, Seed Shark then Mortars. That's cute. So they get at least 1 creature there, but then I can kill a Seed Shark.
I will cull the weak.
Non-token creature planeswalker of their choice. Could play Shieldred here. Shieldred gets hostage taken, but then they don't have the mana to immediately recast Shieldred off the hostage taker. And then I could kill the hostage taker before they cast Shieldred against me. That sounds good to me. Menacing Threat, expanding our board here. Oh, Lulth only triggers off of your own creatures dying. Okay. This plays poorly against Liliana. If they go land Liliana here, it's a pretty good play for them. I was hoping Lulth would have the loyalty we could sack Lulth and get 2 spiders there. But I misread. Lulth is off of your cards only. They did not top deck the land though, very lucky for us. So they drop a case. Drop a Watery Grave, so they'll have the mana next turn for pretty much anything in their hand. Just one land from the Scholar, even. Massacre Worm is cute. You know what's also pretty cute? Our whole board has Menace. You can play around the Liliana by, like, Noshiing Shieldred back to our hand so Shieldred doesn't die. Then Noshi dies, which is still a little sad. But we get a free cast off Noshi. Oh, Nashi could play lands too. I shouldn't have played land for turn. Cube is the land of sequencing errors for me. But then I get to hold up some instants if I just play the 3-mana spell instead of the 6. Yeah, I think I like the Nashi here. That feels good. Island, no! The sequencing error! It comes into play. Okay, these are just good because they're enter effects. I guess because Hostage Taker, they could play it, steal Nashi, and immediately cast Nashi off a land. I should try to hold up interaction for that. If I can. So what I could do here, I can drown the 2/2. Still have Price of Fame against Hostage Taker. Wait, no. Hostage Taker is not legendary. I don't know. If their whole turn is just cast Hostage Taker, cast Nashi, though, then I just Massacre Worm. Yeah, we'd be fine. Let's play this Sorin. Oh my god, I'm so bad. I forgot this is just a free Sorin off of the Nashi. So I can do both? Okay, well this is so free then. To hold up the removal.
Children will take care of you.
It's probably really bizarre watching somebody like me do cube draft, where I'm infinitely more familiar with bad commons from like Final Fantasy draft than I am with like very heavily played rares and mythics that are played all over like a variety of formats. Because it's like, I don't play constructed. I've played these cards maybe like 4 times in my life because I've only ever played them in cube. Or the one time I managed to open them in draft.
Make great minions. Loyal and silent.
Liliana is pretty good here. We'll keep a Nashi.
Slaying demons.
Aren't I
Ooh, we get the loyalty to make 2 more spiders.
I do quite
Do love to see
enjoy
that.
necromancy.
Blow up the case. I don't want to do that. Go, Nashi, go! As much as I love drawing cards, it is hard to justify not killing a Liliana.
I will rise again.
Subservience will be rewarded.
My ways are not for the weak.
People tip the loss. They found him. Burst lightning, goodbye, Sorin. Alright.
Darkness I
There.
return.
If I blow this up in response, does that not solve anymore? Let's find out. Might have had to do this in the main phase. It does not solve. Nice.
Go on, run.
Maybe I'll end up
We'll catch
shooting myself too much with Nashi and die to some random burn spell. That doesn't sound impossible. Clone Crafter better on the empty board. Ooh, What does Davriel do? Spin the lottery wheel on the -2? I could spin the lottery wheel and see if we get some life gain randomly. And I still get to hold up my instance. Or I could just spend the 6 on the trainer and still have instance up. Draw 2. That's better. Ooh, Cruel Claw's Heist. Soul Servitude. These are good spells. I'm not holding up instance anymore, but Cruel Claw's Heist has been just consistently ridiculous. 2 Nicoboli! I want to play a Nicobolas. I guess I'll play this one. I played the bigger one. The God Pharaoh himself. Hostage Taker, Nashi, cast Nashi. They'll be basically tapped out.
At least there is
Yeah, now they're literally tapped out, so Masker Worm should be lethal. I think. They lose 2 immediately, and if they chump block, they lose another 2, so they can't chump block, so that's 6 damage on board. That is game. Alright, we did the thing. We got at least a 50-50 record with a mono-colored deck in Chromatic Cube. I feel like mono black is probably the only deck that would really ever get close to happening. So it's not as impressive as maybe some other mono-colored decks, but still has been really, really fun. But yeah, like, they have a lot of double black and triple black cards here. Like, I feel like mono black is at least mildly intended, or at least very heavy black decks at times. Whereas some other colors, like trying to do mono white or something, be pretty crazy. Mono white is great in the regular Arena Cube. There's just some great mono white aggro stuff, but not a lot here in this one. This is a slow hand. Even on the play, we don't do anything till turn 4. Okay, got a mulligan that. Also, monstrously slow hand. But I'm not going to mull down to 5. Lolth and Sidisi work well together, but I don't think I can afford to keep 2 5-drops. So I guess Lolth is better by herself than Sidisi is. I don't want to sack the vampire to a Sidisi. Nor the Sidisi to herself. Playing against the blue deck, we're really hoping their cheapest creature is a legendary. That'd be pretty lucky for us, so we can actually use our cheap removal. Uh-oh. Will I draw lands this game is the question. That is 2 for 2 on spells drawn. I only needed to draw 1, well, I only need present tense to draw 1 land in order to get this hand rolling, and Soren draws a bunch of cards to get to the next one. Thank goodness, just in time to Price of Fame the Seed Shark before it does anything, and Surveil into the next land. Ooh, Shieldred is a great draw, but it's not going to matter if I draw Shieldred without the 5th mana, so we'll draw the 5th mana first and then the Shieldred. Yeah, Shieldred is gnarly in board states like that, where they have like 1 Seed Shark down, just go Shieldred against it. Alright, we're probably getting countered here. Who do we care about the least? Davriel, probably. Care about Davriel the least, but he's still decent. So that makes sense to me. Or maybe even Wolf, honestly. Because then I get to be mana efficient and I don't care about her too much. Yeah, I'll just play Davriel. He actually resolves. That's impressive.
Well, I'd say it's good to see another.
I guess we can spin the lottery wheel here then. Or do I +1 just so I still have access to the removal later? The -3/-3. Yeah, I guess we'll just use Davriel as like a prepayment plan on a future removal spell,
Don't even think about it.
rather than going for complete RNG. There's so many conditions and stuff, it's crazy. Okay, Cyclonic Rift just bounced. Davriel is fine. Unstoppable Slasher. Unfortunate, but I can stun that. Turn over turn for quite some time. But we don't really have much exile. We have one extinction event. Ew. Draw Sheoldred off of Soul Servitude. That's disgusting. Well, we know they have a Sheoldred in hand, so let's play some stuff that Sheoldred is not good against. I guess our whole hand is stuff that Sheoldred's not good against, so that's lucky. Oh wait, Davriel is perfect against Slasher. If I perpetually give it -3/-3, it never does anything for the rest of the game. That doesn't seem crazy to me then. Just do that right now while they're tapped out of countering Davriel. Just make sure this thing never matters again.
Negotiations are
It's perpetually a 0/0.
that I have a weak body to match your weak will.
Okay. Oh, or Planeswalker. Shoot. I didn't even read my own card. Luckily, Davriel again doesn't matter much, as we've stated many times.
The history of this world
So this game would have went a lot better if I just led with the Davriel after they played the Slasher. We found like the perfect interaction there. Well, these are both pretty equally good. Wolf is probably a tiny bit better now that they have a big creature on their board. Lol. Ward 1. Lol. Thank you for asking if I'm sure. I should proliferate more.
No cost is too great to quill my people's savagery.
Your blood shall quench my rage.
You deal with this annoyance.
Zombify Sheoldred. That's awkward. Oh. Alright, Soren. Sad day.
My lust for power is insatiable.
This isn't your app. You're poor. You get used to the smell.
I was gonna say, they haven't drawn a land in a long time. They're on all spells there. Ashiok is not crazy here. Collective Brutality. Their hand seems decent. Let's draw off Obnixilus because he can't do anything else. See if that changes things. Can at least escalate the Brutality now, if nothing else. How do I even escalate it? I just give this -2/-2. Guess I can do that post-combat. Yeah. Attack Ashiok with everybody post-combat Brutality. Seems reasonable. Come back wrong. Could be great in the future. Extinction Event, Gearhulk, Emrakul. Oh boy. Oh boy. Emrakul, when I have Liliana on board, they make me sack 2 of my own creatures.
Hands dirty.
They're at 6 mana right now. Emrakul, 1 less for each card type in grave. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 less. Emrakul's 9, they're at 6.
Don't speak ill of the undead.
Alright, come back wrong on Gearhulk. As I said, it was probably going to be good in the future. Now is the future. They're at 7 out of 9 now. Towards Emrakul. Ooh. Warzone Duplicator's kind of sick too. But then they just replay the Gearhulk and kill the Duplicator. But that'll be really nice in the future. I think it's better to come back wrong here. Plus Sleeper, I suppose. I get to draw a card off come back wrong with Liliana on board. Pretty sick.
My packs give me strength.
You must be subdued.
I need 6 mana up to triple evolve. Alright, we'll play the land then. Ooh, instant speed removal.
Effective tool.
These draws have been so good. But we have been drawing like 2 or 3 extra cards a turn, because 1 from Nyx every turn, 1 from Liliana pretty consistently. Non-land permanent 600 and then they exile a card from hand. Okay. I'll exile the Duplicator at this point. I can Soul Servitude if they play a blocker.
Fade into the shadows.
Like an Emrakul. That explains the Ashiok sack. That gets them to the Emrakul mana. Taking control my turn when Omnixless has... When Omnixless has 3 loyalty is pretty sick. I don't think I want to discard Liliana here. I don't think I do. I could put an Emrakul in my hand, but then I'm taking their turn when they have nothing anyway. Okay. Omnixless one of our creatures and pass, and they just lose anyway. Yeah, just Omnixless Evolved Sleeper pass is the best they can do here. Playing Massacre Worm is not good for our opponent, because now I hit them for 6 more damage next turn. Unless they really want to kill Massacre Worm, which... I guess that might be better than just killing Sleeper. I don't mind it at all. Because I can hit them a lot harder in the immediate future now than if they just killed Sleeper and passed. Because I wouldn't have the mana to play Liliana and Massacre Worm. Yeah, I don't know. It's a pretty awful
Fortune to battle and make
position for our opponent, no matter what they do there. So,
no way but my way.
I think that's a fair line. Alright, they're playing off the top. Scry 1, draw 1. And hope that that gets them out of this. It's got to be very strong to do so. Thief of Sanity does not do it. Just a chump block here. I guess I could have tried to dig into the removal spell to win on the spot there. If we find it, Liliana would have worked. We are just evolving here.
Yours will be a fate worse than undead.
Might have even had on board lethal, sacking 2 zombies and hitting for 1, 2, plus, let's see, 7. I could hit for 8. I could hit for 10. That would not be quite lethal. Metamorph is the draw. Could choose the Liliana, but that is still not going to be enough. Just kill 2 of the zombies.
Just surrender, right? Necromancy is a lot like
I guess they could try to mill us out. It's cute. We're down to 5 cards, but they are dead on board. And there's the concession. That is 4 and 2. We have officially gotten more wins than losses with this deck, no matter where things go from here. And now a solid average run at worst with our monocolor Chromatic Cube deck. All right, here we are on the draw for game number 7. This is a bit of a slower hand, but the Cold Steel Heart helps a lot. Oh lord. Turn 1 Llanowar Elves on the play from our opponent. We would ideally need a pretty fast hand to try to, compete with that kind of stuff. Well, we hit a Bronco at least, but that's not going to help against the Shrieker. So I block one of the 2/2s it manifests. Yeah, we play the Bronco over the Cold Steel Heart here to get something on the board. Keep Llanowar Elves off of us and have this to trade into a 2/2. Cold Steel Heart doesn't matter until we're ramping from some 3 to 5 for Obnixilis. Turn 2, Hauntwood Shrieker on the play is going to put a ton of pressure on us here to get to this Massacre Worm as quickly as possible. And even once we get there, the Shrieker itself will still be alive. And if they got really lucky and they manifested a high mana value card, we're just dead immediately. Flip it up for only 2 mana. Oh my god. This is their board on turn 3. We have found the Extinction Event game, everybody. We don't have it in hand, though. I think I have to play Nashi now. I don't think turn 4 Obnix is going to do enough here. We just play the Nashi now to hold off 3 power attackers, potentially. Turn 4, we play the Heart. We really need turn 5 Massacre Worm. Is green secretly the best aggro color in this version of the Chromatic Cube? I mean, Surrak and Hauntwood Shrieker seem like pretty absurdly statted aggressive cards to have in the Chromatic Cube. Alright, we'll see if they got lucky on this manifest here. I should have blocked Shrieker instead of Surrak. That was wrong. I saw bigger number and was like, stop more damage. Gwenna. Exactly enough toughness to get around the Bronco. Rough. Wow. Alright, well, we lose no matter how we play it then. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I go to 2 life here. If I played it the other way and they didn't have Shrieker anymore, they still would have gotten that creature there. They would have had the 4 power creature instead. Then we take 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, either way, we end up at like 2 life here. Play nothing this turn. We play nothing, go to 2. And then by the time I play Massacre Worm, it's too late. Because we die to Gwenna and Surrak, or we die to Gwenna and Shrieker. Either way. Alright. Yeah, I punted pretty bad. That block was really wrong, but it doesn't matter. This game was a guaranteed loss no matter how we play it. That was an incredible Llanowar Elves aggro curve out from our opponent on the play. And that'll do that to you. I got a lethal face down too. Nope. Just holding up the Wild Guide mana to play something else. Okay. Put a counter on itself so it survives Massacre Worm so that we are still very dead to the 3 creatures they still have on board. And again, that would be the same if we blocked the Shrieker instead of the Surrock. Because we're killing everything the Shrieker made here. So that part's kind of irrelevant. We are done on board. Yeah. That was just an unbeatable hand from our opponent. I don't think most decks have a chance against that. That was the dream there. So fast with that turn 1 elves. Alright. I mean, we have hands in this deck that could beat that hand. Because we took so much removal, we got a lot of cheap removal too. If we just had an opening hand with Drown and Ichor, that would have been our best shot. If we could have drowned the Hauntwood Shrieker before it declared an attack, I think we actually probably win that game. If we had Come Back Wrong or Withering Torment, then we would have had a decent chance. Yeah, I think Drown and Ichor in the opening hand and we win that game. Come Back Wrong or Withering Torment and it's an even game. And we draw basically anything else, and that's impossible to win, so... We had a couple pretty specific ways we might have stood a chance there, but... That was just an incredible curve out from our opponent on the play, and that'll kick us out of the event. 4-3 it'll be. I'll still take it. That's still a winning record here, still winning more games than we lost, and did it with a monocolored deck and the Chromatic Cube, so that was pretty fun. I don't really recommend playing monocolor in this cube, but if you really want to do it, I would say mono black is probably the best way to do so. Black was very open this pod. We got to play 1 million strong black planeswalkers, so we had a pretty fun game plan here of just interact with their early threats, ideally, or their most important threats, and then use all these planeswalkers to accrue a bunch of advantage over the course of the game. Win off of those in a classic somewhat controlling manner there. Pretty good stuff from the deck, but again, don't do this if you're strictly trying to win. If you're just wanting to have some fun, go for it. But if you're trying to win, we should have been splashing at least one of the other 2 colors and removing some of the more mediocre cards for better cheap removal, better 2-for-1 style interaction like Slumgar's Command or something here would have been really good. Just more value plays, more 2-for-1s and stuff are quite strong like Atris as well. A lot of other options for how to build this, but I had fun with this one, so pretty solid draft for today. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in the recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.